why is on bipolar, it's just okay. And all right. And then a few more. This is obviously really dangerous. Yeah, I'm gonna go get. Like. Alright guys, welcome back to my series on bipolar disorder. Last week we talked about how to care for your loved ones who have bipolar disorder. If you haven't watched my other videos on bipolar disorder, especially the Bipolar 101 video, I would suggest you do that because there's a lot of information in there that you need to understand before listening to what I'm going to talk about today, which is mixed episodes in bipolar disorder. Now, I've made a couple of TikToks about this, one defining what a mixed episode is, and then one briefly discussing what it's like for me. Here are those TikToks so you can get a general gist before I start. Okay, let's get into mixed episodes. You can have mixed episodes for bipolar 1 or bipolar 2, it doesn't matter. And it's kind of what it sounds like. It's a mixture of depressive and manic symptoms at the same time. For us lucky ones who developed bipolar as an adolescent or a teenager, we're more prone to those. So basically, you'll feel both sides, the highs and the lows, in one episode. An example, you can have low-grade depression and still have some symptoms of mania without actually having bipolar disorder. So that particularly is referred to as a mixed depression or a unipolar major depressive episode with mixed features. Now this is where it starts to get confusing because it can kind of seem like borderline personality disorder. Because you have all the symptoms of mania and depression and you can cycle several times in one day. Now these are the scariest types of episodes because they're the ones that make you most likely to want to hurt yourself permanently. Some people will never have a mixed episode. I'm really lucky and I have them all the time, so I'll tell you what it's like for me in the next. Alright, let's talk about my mixed episode. I feel like I'm just going to be repeating myself with all the symptoms because it's the same as like depressive and manic symptoms just all at once. But I will tell you that I am more prone to mixed episodes because I developed bipolar disorder as an adolescent. I will say that mixed episodes are what kept me from getting a diagnosis because I thought that to have bipolar disorder, you either had to have mania or depression, but not at the same time. Like, I just thought I was super unstable. Mixed episodes have me cycling within a day, which isn't my normal with just manic or just depressive episodes. Like, I'll be absolutely fine and then like, 10 minutes later I'm crying because I'm upset, and then all of a sudden I'm paranoid about everything. And then I'm upset again and I'm crying. And I see that those are the scariest episodes because those are the ones that make you most likely to want to yeet yourself out of existence. And it's not like I'm so depressed I want to die. It's more I can only think about hurting myself and nothing else. It's really not a fun time, it's scary, but those are the basics. So the technical term for mixed episodes are bipolar episodes with mixed features. You experience the highs of a manic episode or a hypomanic episode with the lows of a depressive episode at the same time. As you can imagine, it's not a lot of fun. So the general criteria for a mixed episode, having either a depressive or manic or hypomanic episode and having 3 or more symptoms of the other type of episode, but that isn't like a strict rule. General symptoms are irritability, high energy, racing thoughts, pressured or racing speech, overactivity and agitation like irritability, with feelings of sadness, loss of interest in normally interesting behaviors or activities, low energy, feelings of guilt or hopelessness or worthlessness, and thoughts of suicide in depressive episodes. So obviously this isn't an exhaustive list of symptoms. Again, I talked about pretty much all of them in the Bipolar 101 video, but mixed episodes can just be a different array or combination of all of these manic and depressive symptoms. It just depends on you and your special imbalance of brain chemicals and hormones. And the length of mixed episodes also depends on the person, just like it does with a manic or hypomanic or depressive episode. Also, side note, is some people have major depression, like major depressive disorder with low-grade mania symptoms, but not enough to be diagnosed bipolar. So this is referred to as mixed depression or a unipolar major depressive episode with mixed features. So if you resonate with mixed episodes but you don't really have the same or as intense manic or hypomanic episode, you might consider that. And that may be something worth bringing up to a psychiatrist or a doctor or a therapist. Now, not everyone has mixed features or mixed episodes, but it generally happens for about 20 to 40% of us. It doesn't matter if you have bipolar 1, bipolar 2, cyclothymia, or some unspecified mood disorder, they can all have some form of mixed episodes. Those of us who develop bipolar at a younger age, like adolescence, can be more likely to have or experience mixed episodes. I'm looking at myself because I started having symptoms in 5th grade. Not everyone has episodes with mixed features to the same degree. Like some people had mainly depressive episodes episodes, some maybe just a few features of mania, or vice versa. And some people have complete mixed episodes where you can feel the full force of depression and mania or hypomania at the same time, or in cycles. Those cycles can be daily, even hourly. This is where behaviors often get confused with borderline personality disorder, which also cycles hourly. The difference is that with bipolar, these episodes last from a few days to a few months. For borderline, it's an hour, a few hours to a few days. I can do a video discussing the differences between bipolar and borderline at different times. Some people start out with a manic or hypomanic episode, and that can turn into a mixed episode. It really just depends. I am prone to mixed episodes, but not everyone has them like I do, which is like full force, alternating, cycling. It's just chaos, basically. It's just utter chaos. Okay, so now we've got the basics of what can happen in mixed episodes, so here's what it's actually like for me. Now, in my TikTok, I didn't go too into detail. I wasn't very descriptive about what my mixed episodes were like, because I felt like kind of redundant just, repeating my manic and depressive symptoms, but there are differences I can describe. Mixed episodes are, in short, terrifying. For me personally, I'm more prone to manic episodes than depressive episodes, so I'll start out with a manic episode, feel really productive, needing anywhere from 3 to 6 hours of sleep, and this is assuming that I'm not on medication. When I'm on medication, as I am, it's a lot less intense, but this is just generally like if you're unmedicated, or when I was unmedicated, this is what it was like. 3 to 6 hours of sleep, feeling very irritable, being more argumentative, feeling really good, like too good, like euphoric, getting really distracted really easily, living in a fantasy world, and then have a random spout of crying, like full-on sobbing for no reason. It just comes out of nowhere, and then I'll feel good. I'll feel good again, and then suddenly so hopeless, like the world is ending, I'm never gonna feel okay again, and then just so sad, and then back to having energy and feeling great. Totally disregarding the fact that I was just like sobbing about nothing. Another example, I'm feeling manic, and then suddenly I lose the energy to feel, or I feel numb, like nothing matters and I don't care about anything anymore. I'm convinced nothing's ever going to change. Then there's like spastic, intermittent crying, and a few moments later I'm fine. Or I'm driving recklessly and speeding and missing exits because I can't pay attention long enough to my GPS. My mind is racing, and then 2 hours later I'm on the kitchen floor crying. I actually didn't know about mixed episodes for a long time. Like when I was initially researching bipolar and wondering if that was something I had. That's actually what kept me from getting a diagnosis, because I didn't know mixed episodes were a thing. And I know that's been the case for other people too. Just not knowing about mixed episodes, and so not feeling like you fit the criteria for bipolar disorder. I wish professionals would talk more about mixed episodes, because I see so many comments on TikTok, people saying they had no idea mixed episodes existed, and that, wow, that makes so much sense, like I'm gonna go get checked. And it's frustrating for me to hear that, knowing that people could have gotten treatment so much sooner if they had only been educated about mixed episodes. And it's understandable. Bipolar disorder used to be called manic depressive disorder, so that doesn't leave a whole lot of room for an in-between episode. You think it's either mania or depression, but that's not the case. Now, I've heard people say that manic energy drives their depressive episodes when they're having a mixed episode. People whose manic episodes become mixed episodes, you might just feel like energized, not sleeping as much, but still feel sad or feel like your self-esteem is low, or you wonder what would happen if you died, but not necessarily that you want to do it. With depression, you're like, oh, I want to die, but with like mania, you're like, oh, what if I did die? Which I've definitely experienced. It's different for everyone. It's like the extreme version of having the drive and motivation to get things done, but not the energy, and wanting to be productive and do things, but not caring enough to actually follow through. It's like having like your anxiety, having you worry about not getting things done, and your depression not letting you get things done, like on crack. It's like having a devil and angel on your shoulder. Like, this is the manic angel and this is the depressive angel, and they're both just kind of like telling you to do shit. But the thing that makes mixed episodes so dangerous is that they combine the hopelessness from the depressive episode with the chaos of manic or hypomanic episodes. So suddenly you're suicidal and you have the energy to follow through. So this is obviously really dangerous, and I've briefly discussed suicide, a few times, but I'm going to go into depth. So if that's something that makes you uncomfortable, or if it might trigger you, like, please skip this part. I'm gonna put the hyperlink in the description below, so you can click on it and go to the end of where I'm done talking about like suicide. Take care of yourself, please, like, unless you really think you need to hear this so you can understand, but otherwise, like, don't. Suicide is often a large part of bipolar disorder, unfortunately, especially during mixed episodes. episodes. People with bipolar disorder are already 10 to 20 times more likely to commit suicide, and 10 to 15% of us actually end up doing it. And after a few days or a week of being in a mixed episode, the dark thoughts hit really quickly, at least for me. And for me, the thoughts are not, I want to die, I should die, I'm a burden, nobody loves me. It's more the intensely strong compulsion to hurt myself. I can't think of anything but hurting myself. So even though I don't want to die, I don't want to hurt my loved ones or leave them behind, I can't get the thoughts out of my head. Like, none of that reasoning to live like matters whenever I'm experiencing this. So I'm just like fantasizing about it the whole time. It can go on for hours, sometimes days, and I just do what I can to get through it. Obviously during these times, I don't want to tell anyone because I don't want to worry them or scare them, but I also have to remember that like my friends want to know, and that at the very least they can continue to check on me and keep me from doing something I'm gonna regret. And then the best I can do is call my psychiatrist and tell her what's going on. I know that you don't want to let the people you love know, because you don't want to scare them, you don't want to burden them, but it would hurt worse if you did hurt yourself and they didn't know. Just keep that in mind. Alright, so if you click the hyperlink, it should bring you back here. I'm done getting specific about suicidal thoughts and ideation. I'm going to briefly discuss coping skills for being in a mixed episode. Everyone copes differently. Some people call someone and have to talk them through it. I have a hard time reaching out and admitting that I'm not okay, but I have started to recently, and it has been helpful. So just take it from me, like as someone who never wants to tell anyone if I'm not doing okay. It's worth it if you tell the right people that you trust and who care about you. My coping mechanisms are drawing. I like to draw what I feel like I want to do to myself, like harm-wise. Like I draw it instead of doing it, and like scratches the itch, I guess, if that makes sense. So that way I'm kind of following through without actually hurting myself. Or I write a song about it, or I watch one of my favorite comfort TV shows, or I eat sweets, specifically Oreos. Some people exercise, which couldn't be me, or do crafts, which is definitely me. Some people sleep, some people use substances, some people chew gum, listen to music, go for a walk. I don't know. There's like a bajillion coping mechanisms. Using substances isn't great whenever you have bipolar disorder, because then it can make your symptoms worse. Honestly, if that's what you need to do, if there's nothing else you can do and you need to use substances to cope, a coping mechanism is better than no coping mechanism as long as you're not hurting yourself more. It's kind of like risk management. You do what you can to make it less harmful. Harm management. Drinking is better than physically hurting yourself, but watching a TV show for 2 days straight is better than drinking. You know, like it just really depends. The point is to reduce harm. The possibilities for coping mechanisms are endless, but you need them, so figure it out because it's important and you need it to make it through episodes. Now, if you're experiencing any of those thoughts right now or anytime, like please call someone. If you don't have anyone to call, here's the suicide hotline in English and Spanish and for the UK, and I'll put those in the description box below as well. And always reach out, and please let your loved ones know, even though it's scary. The people who care about you want to know, but you know, also, you know, let them know, hey, I'm having a rough time. Are you in a good enough place to help me or be supportive? And if they say yes, then you can let them know what's going on. If they say no, then, you know, ask someone else, because you have to understand that people may not be in a good spot to help support, and they may be, so you just need to keep that in mind. I know letting psychiatrists or therapists know is scary, because you think they're gonna put you on suicide watch, but it's better than hurting yourself, and that's not always a given. They won't always institutionalize you or put you on suicide watch. My psychiatrist just puts me up a dosage and tells me to give all my weapons to my roommate. This was a heavy video, so I'm going to start playing my TikToks that I think are hilarious to make you laugh, hopefully. And if you don't want to watch those, then watch something funny, please. Like, don't just watch this and let it settle in. You just do something fun and light and happy after watching this, because I know it was intense. Otherwise, I hope this information was helpful to you. I know it was heavy, but it's important stuff to know. I don't want you guys to think that you're alone, because you're not. We are all in this together. So thank you guys for watching. If you haven't seen my other videos on bipolar disorder, go watch those. You might find them helpful. Subscribe if you want more content weekly, and if you want daily content, go to my TikTok and follow me there. I'll put all my socials in the description box. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment or message me on Instagram. Like, I'm happy to answer, and I will answer. And if there's a topic you want me to cover, go ahead and comment that too. This was actually a topic someone wanted me to cover, so I do follow through. On that note, y'all have a great week, and I hope you guys are doing okay.
I want you to park that Big Mac truck right in this little garage. Oh.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
Look around at how lucky we are to be super dead right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Why don't we just relax? We'll turn on the radio. Would you like Michael in the bathroom by himself?
Veronica, open the door, please. Veronica, open the door.
Women only have 4 moods.
When you try your best, but you don't. Dude, how do you feel?
Oh, I'm sorry. Why don't we just relax? We'll turn on the radio. Would you like
I'm headed straight for the floor.
I'm currently eating sushi. It's very yummy. No.